Where do you stand on this vote if it were to happen today? Would you vote for Speaker Mike Johnson?
I'm going to wait until Friday to make that decision. I'm going to pray about it. I want to talk to Speaker Johnson about some ideas I have, and hopefully that's where he is, and then I'll make that decision then. I think the president, though, has made a huge impact on it. I see that swaying a lot of folks that maybe were neutral or were unsure. So I don't think anybody really in our party wants to start off the new year on the bad standing with President Trump.
Probably not a good idea, no.
Definitely not a good idea. But Congressman, as a follow-up, your colleague, Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz, has not fully committed to supporting Speaker Johnson. Do you think, though, his position is in trouble? And does it circle back to the failed stopgap bills that happened right before the holidays?
Of course it does. Everybody wants everything to pass that they had, but you got to realize that that bill had a lot of unnecessary spending in it. It was supposed to be a continued resolution, and in fact, it had plenty of pork in it. There was $5 billion in there for submarines, and we just passed the National Defense Authorization Act a couple of weeks prior to it, and it had billions more than we'd had in the past. And of course, the Pentagon has never passed an audit, and their business is war, and their business has been pretty good as of late. And hopefully a bunch of those folks are going to go out of business under Trump, because I think nobody understands it better than he does. But Victoria's concerns are very similar to mine. It's just our spending. We cannot continue down this path. You know, the Doge folks, Vivek and Elon, met with us, and they publicly stated they want to cut about $2 trillion. Well, every 100 days we run up another $1 trillion. After all their efforts, their plan is to cut 200 days of our deficit spending. So I think we need to look at a little bigger section of things. We need to look at some of these departments, some of these alphabet agencies really just need to go away or be combined into others, and those employees need to seek other employment elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I could completely agree, Congressman. So the problem, though, is that obviously the vote for the Speaker happens on Friday. The vote to certify the 2024 results is Monday. And that's not a lot of time. This whole process took weeks on end, both with Speaker McCarthy, then Speaker Mike Johnson. There's no time to delay. And so Democrats have said they're not going to help out. They're not helping you this time around. I mean, does that either put you in a difficult position or let's just get Speaker Johnson, give him the gavel back, and we'll have these longer term fights later down the road, say after we get through the inauguration of President Trump?
Well, that's always a possibility, because it just takes one person to bring up a speaker for a vote. And I suspect that's one rule that possibly will be changed. The former speaker negotiated that into the package so he could become speaker, so some other people would relent and vote for him. So I suspect you're going to see a lot of movement in that direction. I think we're going to be okay. I'm not wringing my hands over the constitutional question of not having a Speaker of the House. I think we'll have that resolved Friday in 1 or 2 votes, and we'll get it settled.
Well, speaking of Democrats, they have backed Johnson when he was in trouble before, but they say that this will not happen again. Take a listen to MSNBC discussing this over the weekend.
The last time he was in trouble, Democrats saved him. They saved his speakership, Joe. Democrats are being very, very clear. April's correct. They're saying not this time.
Look, the best thing Johnson has going for him is the calendar. Trump's wants to do a bunch of cruel, aggressive stuff in January. A speaker's mess messes that up.
Congressman, your reaction?
Well, I don't watch MSNBC. I'm not sure those people are.
Fair enough.
And I would encourage others not to do that as well.
Okay.
But, this is just people on the sidelines. You've got one guy who was a one-term congressman, a Republican, and he got beat. And he's bitter, and I understand that. You're not getting much from that. I don't care what the Democrats do at this point. I think we've got the majority. We need to start acting like it. We can lose one vote. I think Thomas Massie is one that we probably won't get. But if we get everybody else, and I suspect Victoria and the rest of us will compromise, and we'll get an agreement on some spending issues that we're concerned about, reduction in those spending issues, and maybe some more conservative leadership in some of the key committees that we could really use, and then I think we'll move on.
Sounds good, Congressman. And if you were watching MSNBC, you'd probably be the only Republican to do so. Congressman Tim Burchett, thanks for joining us.